I just want to share that I'm very grateful to be here. I have many people here that are very important to me, and that I call my 贵人, yeah, my beneficiaries that really helps in my Buddhism practice. A lot of people on the photo you can see, they helped me a lot in certain periods of my life, right, and in guiding in this journey towards me learning about Buddhism. Yeah. Okay, so I'll do a quick introduction about myself, and then I'll open the question to the floor and ask everybody what do they think Buddhism is. I hope I can hear some of the answers, maybe different, unique answers. Everybody has their own meaning of what Buddhism is to them. So I hope I can hear more answers from the floor. Then I'll share about my journey with Buddhism all the way when I was very young, being a novice, all the way until now, how I come in and out of Buddhism. Yeah, and what happened in my first meditation retreat. Yeah, and last I will share about why should we all practice Buddhism. Actually. Okay, so these are some of the couple of hats that I'm wearing. I'm a son, a brother, and a boyfriend. A quick introduction about myself. I'm currently working in the IT sector sales. Fortunate to have one of my colleagues designate here as well. Smartest guy in my company. He's our solution architect, so very smart guy. Happy he's here. Okay. I'm 168 cm, 88 kg. I don't know. Sounds like, feels like a dating program. I like to share. Also, if you need to know, I'm a Libra, zodiac, Chinese zodiac monkey, and I'm a Buddhist. Right? I'm proudly to say that I'm a Buddhist. Yeah. So just to open up the floor, start with a question. Anybody would like to share? What do you think Buddhism is in your own version? Or yeah, anybody would like to start off? What is Buddhism to you? Is it a religion? Yeah. How would you explain Buddhism to your friend?
So Evelyn online was saying it's a way of life.
It's a way of life, yeah. It's a way of life. If someone, yeah. It's your practice, it's your homage, okay?
Doing good deeds and practicing mindfulness.
Good deeds and practice mindfulness.
Shin online was saying it's a philosophy to Shin.
Philosophy.
Nick is saying it's the study of the mind.
Study of the mind. Okay.
The Zoom people more active.
Here,
Here still waking up.
No correct. Okay, no correct, no wrong. Right? There's no right or wrong answer. It's really how it means to you. Right? And I think the next question is, I think my Buddhist mentor Kai Sing also asked me before, right? How do you know if you're Buddhist enough? Yeah, and I think my reply to her was, when someone shares a misconception about Buddhism and I'm confident enough to correct them. Yeah, that's where I feel I'm Buddhist enough. Okay, so my journey in Buddhism all started, I was born into a Buddhist family. Okay, and some of you may not know, but it's actually my grandpa's dying wish for me to follow the Buddhist path. Yeah, so my grandpa is called Banchong Suanarat. Yeah, he's the few people that actually founded together with the founder Long Po Hong at Wat Ananda Temple. So he was actually once also a monk. He was once also a monk, and then he disrobed. Yeah, because I think my grandma's very beautiful. He disrobed. So then that's where, yeah, that's the rest of history, right? So his only dying wish, and he told my mom, was to make sure the kids, all follow the Buddhist path, which is me and my sister. Yeah, so yeah, my mom said, yeah, sure, I'll make sure they follow. So we go chanting every Sunday, we are forced to go chanting, learn Buddhism, we learn even Thai language, how to speak Thai, right, at the Thai temple. Yeah, so this is how I was born into it. I go to temple every week, I go to Sunday school. Yeah, and yeah, I'm Buddhist. At that time, I was brought into the Buddhist world, right? So this at the bottom left, you can see when you're at main shrine, and Wat Ananda, that is Long Po Hong. Yeah, he was the few of them that came down with the royal family to actually open up Wat Ananda many years ago. Yeah, so I think from there I already got a small condition, a small light in the past all the way until now. Yeah. So this is my journey. Okay, so in March 2005, I became a novice and I also joined Young Buddhist chapter. So you can see I'm the top right, the one leaning down, very cheeky smile. Yeah, very cute, huh? I say myself cute, right? Yeah. So like, what happened, right? Like, what do you think a novice do on a day to day? We actually do very basic things like sweeping the floor, reading the book, doing meditation. So we only can eat once per day, right? 8 precepts, and we only can eat what people offer us, right? So you can see a bunch of novice here. All their parents were bringing in KFC. Yeah, so at my novice, I was fortunate enough to eat like KFC, right? So yeah, very lucky. Yeah, then my family, bottom left, and my sister. Yeah, so we learn a lot about the history, our day-to-day activities, as our novice, and at that time it was really something very important as a Thai tradition, for us to do at least once in our life, right? To ordain as a monk before 18 years old and also after 18. So this was the before 18 years old. Yeah, so they say it's actually more important than wedding, like your own wedding. Being ordained as a monk is very important, powerful meaning factor in the milestone of your life. Yeah, so this was my novice. Okay, and then we entered Young Buddhist chapter. I'm not sure if any of you know Young Buddhist chapter. We were once a Buddhist youth group. Okay, and we are from different temples around. So we don't really have a temple at that time, not tied to any temples from Mangala, Vihara, Wat Ananda, BBT, Palilai, Bokasi, and Singapore Buddhist Federation. So what happens is we wanted to do camps, and we don't have a temple to start, but we wanted to do camps. So we went around looking for people. Hey, do you want to join our camp? Do you want to join our camp? So our camp comes from 5 to 10 different temples, and that's where we formed Young Buddhist chapter. Yeah, and even Guan Ping Shifu at the bottom right used to help book for us campsites. Yeah, we use his IC to book campsites at that time. Yeah, so these are my journey, and my sister, part of the jailbreak girls at that time. She's like touching her head. Why are you sharing this photo? Okay, yeah. So this is the journey, and to be honest, running a Buddhist youth group is not easy. Very challenging, right? It's a non-profit and everything is voluntary. So it's all about how we connect with people and whether it makes sense on why people actually come back and why do they want to serve, right? So yeah, and then life happened, right? I think Brother Ronghui asked me, so why do you left Buddhism? I said, oh, life happened. YBC was no longer active, so we have closed YBC, Young Buddhist chapter, no longer active. And then I kind of really lost touch in Buddhism. So there was nothing anchoring me anymore, right? And it started work, right? So when we enter our career, what happens? Suffering happens. Right? When you enter, what happens? Suffering happens, right? When we enter our career. So yeah, a lot of suffering, right? Adulting, suffering begins. And personally, I also had a health scare, right? I was in a hospital for like 2 days. Body was not so healthy. There was some pain in my stomach, and doctor was sharing that, oh, we did the scan. There's nothing else. There's nothing. You're okay. And then on the last day, then they shared that, oh, I have fatty liver, right? So fatty liver. Then I start to think, my body very unhealthy. I heard after the liver, when the liver is damaged, it will lead to many other organs being damaged. So immediately I was very overwhelmed, right? I started crying in the middle of the night. I remember I took a photo while I was crying, sending to my family. Yeah, I can't accept this body of mine. My body should be healthy, right? I was very attached to a healthy body. Yeah, so that was my health scare. So all this coming together, adulting, suffering from work, working with your colleagues, and even your health scare, and also times like at home, all these come together, a lot of suffering. And I came out, wanting to find a group, right? Wanting to find some support, right? And that's where I will call it my conditions aligned and my karma ripened. Sister Amy and Brother Zheming was still here. They were still here. So, yeah, when I started Young Buddhist chapter until now, they are still here. Yeah, same of them. Both of them very passionate, very open, very welcoming me. And I'm thankful for my mom who introduced me to Sister Amy. So Young Buddhist chapter we participated in Camp Lions, I think 10 to 20 years ago. And that's where I first connected to them. And who knew 10 years later we would meet again. Yeah, and Sister Amy at that time also have sessions like that, every Saturday. And I managed to join one of them, I think online. And that's where I started to continue. I started joining online. I came in physical. I get to meet everybody. And she introduced me to SBM mentorship. And then I had a 30 days meditation challenge with Sister Cheryl. And later I joined the 7 days retreat. So these are some of the people that I'm very thankful that made my journey here. Okay, Sister Amy and also Brother Wai Chong, who I attended one of his sessions, and I needed something to really anchor me. Like I needed a purpose. I'm not sure what I'm doing on my day-to-day, what it's all about. What is my purpose? Is it to have children? Is it to build a career? What is next? I wanted something, a purpose to anchor me, and I know all these very difficult questions. I don't know who to answer, so I asked Brother Wai Chong. And I think, Brother Wai Chong shared that our purpose can be to be a better human. Yeah. And that made me, I can work with this. Right? This is something I can live for now. And that became my anchoring purpose. So from then on, every single thing that I do every day, I try to put this purpose in place, thinking, how can I be a better human every single day? Yeah, so, thanks, Brother Wai Chong, for lighting that small light in me. And also, I was introduced to Kai Xing, who was from the mentorship program. And I always share that she's like an undercover Buddha. She always comes in at the right time, giving me a lot of support. And I think at one time I was at a very low period of my life, and I received a text from her, suddenly out of nowhere. And she said, "How are you looking after yourself today?" Yeah, and that made me pause because I wasn't. Yeah, I was taking care of everybody around me, but not myself. So at these moments, right, she's that friend that asks really very good questions and someone that really listens. So she's mentor, and she also guided me in some of my skills set in terms of communicating and sales, which is very good at her current work. So that's where I'm very thankful to have her. Right. And also at that time, we have this book that was given for mentorship, right? It's called Awaken Every Day by Top Dan Chodron. So that was very transformational for me. Right? I don't really read books. I like to keep books. So I like, wow, very good. Free book, right? At the back later, y'all can see. Free books. Take, keep. I don't really read. But this 365 book was the first book that I completed. You know why? Because each page is only one quote. It's only one short quote. And it makes it so digestible and so easy. And how I would say to summarize the book is the book speaks to my heart. Yeah, directly to the heart. Right? And it's very tailored and catered to working adults in Singapore. Yeah. So later I will share a verse that she shared. Right. So that is the book. Then I was very thankful. I repeatedly tell Amy that this book is very good. More people, more mentorships, and more students that enroll in this course should read this book. Right. And then also I met Sayale Sujata. One of the road trip back when I was sending her back to the temple, she actually shared with me how we progress as a society, right, so cognitively, right? Like we are so good, we work very hard, our minds are very strong. We grow so fast cognitively, but our hearts cannot catch up. Yeah, our hearts are still very young, right? We grow, we go to we become an adult, we go to work, but sometimes our hearts couldn't catch up. Yeah. So what I feel Buddhism brings back that heart peace. Yeah. Yeah. And I've always wanted to start a meditation retreat. I've always wanted to join a meditation retreat, right? So it's always at the back of my mind. I've always asked around. Then I met Sister Gillian, from one of the event at the bottom left, doing a mentorship. So I met her, and I think she was asking me. She was offering dana to the monks, right? And then she said, like, this soya bean, should I offer the whole soya bean, or should I pour in a cup? Then I look around, I see, I think you should ask Sister Angela. She looks like she knows what she's doing. So Sister Angela was like, okay, you do here, you do here, you do that. Then
I don't remember.
then I was right? Sister Gillian went to here, she said, pour in the cup. Then like, okay, what hang So we pour in the cup, then we offer the dana, then that's how I met Sister Gillian. And then Sister Gillian said she actually came back from a meditation retreat. From Chiang Mai. So then she shared with me, oh, you should go. It's very good, really, that period. You should go to either the structure one or the verbal. I said, okay. So got more reasons for me to go meditation retreat. I said, okay, park at the back of my mind. Then I messaged Kai Sing. Then I say, hey, I want to go meditation retreat, but I feel I can meditate for 3 minutes. How? Meditation retreat? Wow, meditate for hours. Then she said, you got to start somewhere, right? I said, okay, let me try to go for this Chiang Mai one. So my whole mind is going towards this Chiang Mai one. And then they say that, oh, Singapore, we're going to host Achan Anand online retreat. So this very famous Wat Mak Jan retreat, they are conducting one online. So I'm like, okay, let me just try Singapore first. Don't be so ambitious, don't go Chiang Mai so fast. Yeah. So I signed up for this Achan Anand online retreat that was happening in July. Right. So I was quite worried. I don't know whether I'll be able to sit through these 7 days with no meditation experience. I cannot meditate more than 10 minutes a day, 5 minutes a day. I cannot even do that consecutively for days. So I have no idea how I was going to do that. Yeah. And then somehow more conditions aligned. Yeah. So Sister Cheryl here, the one in pink, she's like, why you point me? Yeah. So Sister Cheryl actually started a 30 days challenge, and she says it's going to start in June. Do you want to join? Then I say, yes, sign me up. Just tell me what should I do? Sign me up. She said, oh, maybe I can meet you one-to-one first and have a chat. I said, oh, no, it's okay. She's like, oh, this guy is so sure. Then I shared with her my conditions and all. So I did a 30 days meditation and then followed by Achan Anand later. Yeah. So all this aligned, and Kai Sing actually introduced Cheryl to me. And that's where I got to know this meditation challenge. And these 30 days, we did a lot of sit together every morning for 30 days straight. Every morning for just 5 to 10 minutes. Yeah. And that 30 days brought up a lot of suffering. Yeah. And what time did we do? We do it at 7 a.m.
Wow.
Yeah, for 30 days. You're here already very scared. Yeah.
Oh my god, that sounds scary.
Yeah. So we did 30 days. And that 30 days really brought a lot of mental suffering that was explained very well by Cheryl. Yeah. So she kind of linked all this day, like I said, oh, I can't sit. Wow, I can't sit for 10. I'm a failure. I can't do meditation. Meditation is not for me. I have all these thoughts that come to mind. And then she shared about Buddhism. She shared a little bit about the Dharma and how all these link towards the 5 hindrances. Yeah, which I will share later. Yeah. So that is one thing that brought a lot of suffering. And when she can link my day-to-day suffering, means every day you just wake up and sit for 5 minutes, right? They will have a lot of things arising in your mind, right? A lot of mental suffering, a lot of proliferations in your mind. And she actually linked that to the 5 hindrances, and I realized that these 5 hindrances, I have a lot of it. That's why there's so much mental suffering, right? First is sensory desire, right? Wanting pleasure through the 5 senses. Yeah, so fidgeting is part of it, right? Oh, very hot. I think I need a fan. Oh, very uncomfortable. My leg very numb, right? All these small things, we want to feel good, right? We want to feel pleasure. We don't want to sit with the mind. We're so uncomfortable with it. So that is sensory desire. And ill will, right? Enmity towards oneself and others. And one also very into it is sloth and torpor, right? Laziness and lack of energy and effort. So that condition was set for me to sit. No choice. I already set already. I need to do it. I need to sit with it. So that was the right effort that was planted in me, that I needed to complete this, right? And restlessness, the mind filled with a lot of thoughts. And last is doubt, which is questioning the meditation experience with a lack of trust, right? So that was the 5 hindrances that Cheryl shared. And another thing that I learned from Kai Xing was reading the sutta, right? So sutta can be very lengthy, very long. Maybe some of us might think it's quite boring, right? It's the sutta that was scripted by the Buddha many years ago, and it really is a sutta that is very close to my heart, apart from my health scare. So it's called the Patoda Sutta, the goat stick. So I will not bring you through the agony of reading the entire sutta. So I will explain it by using cats, right? So this is fully credited to Sinha the Wise on Instagram. So they talk about mortality, right? Talk about death, contemplating death, right? So this is a story about 4 cats in this world. Okay. Cat 1. One who hears about illness and death of a stranger. They are moved and they reprioritize their life towards spiritual development. Cat 2. One who sees illness and death of a stranger. So first one is here, second one is see. They are moved and they reprioritize their life towards spiritual development. Right? So the first one is they hear. Second one is when they see illness of a stranger. And third, one who sees the illness and death of a family members and loved ones. So now is when you see someone close to you. And then they move and reprioritize their life towards spiritual development. And last, this one I felt like, wow, this one really hit home. One who experienced illness and dying for oneself. They reprioritize their life to be kind towards the end of their life, and they reprioritize towards spiritual development, right? So I think these 4 cats represents the world and the people that we have different types of cats, different types of people around the world, right? So never be the last cat who panics and only wakes up when it's very late, right? We all know that there is impermanence, but we often live by thinking we live forever. So our life is short, thus we should prioritize what really matters in life, and we will not be afraid of death because we know we have lived well. Yeah, so all this is in the sutta. Yeah, it's already here, already available for so many years. Yeah, and thankfully we also have people who translated that for us to being able to easily understand it. So this really struck me a lot when Kai Xing shared about the cat that only realizes when it happens to oneself. Yeah, so that really struck that interest and faith, and it made a lot of sense to me that yeah. So these are some learnings from my meditation retreat. I have I know we like to see graphs, right? Do's and don'ts before, after. So I created something where I thought what meditation was and what I think it is after, right? This is all my own view. Okay, so before I thought meditation was a solution to everything, right? Okay, meditate away all your problems, right? Very stressed, but then I meditate, then you'll be gone, right? My colleague is giving me a lot of stress. Whenever I meditate, everything will be gone, right? It's a solution to everything. It's a fix, right? Meditation is a fix. Empty your mind, clear your thoughts, no thoughts, right? Oh, meditation, oh, I have a lot of thoughts. You shouldn't have thoughts, you shouldn't have thoughts, right? That's what I thought meditation was. And also I thought that you need to have a lot of experience to even consider or try meditation retreat. Yeah, so that's what I thought. And you can't meditate if you have non-stop thoughts in your mind, right? Meditation is not for me. So all this is what I have thoughts and comments before my meditation retreat. And now, how I see meditation is a journey, not a destination. So whatever progress you have in meditation is personal, right? Progress is personal. So it's a journey, not a destination. Observing that the thoughts arises and ceases, right? And your thoughts are actually impermanent, right? Learning about non-self, not me, not mine. Yeah, and distinguishing between skillful thoughts and unskillful ones, right? So skillful thoughts and unskillful ones. When the thoughts that comes, is it skillful? Is it towards your benefit? Is it harming you? Is it self-loathe? Is it a lot of self-critique? I learned that a lot about meditation because I went to Cheryl all the time. Wow, this. And she said, oh, yeah, that's. Then she said, what other skillful thoughts that you can arise? Then I realized I have so much of these unskillful thoughts, right? So this is what I learned after meditation. And being present, one breath at a time, right? I mean, I was going to give a talk, right? I mean, so much of things coming in my head, the power plug not in, the Zoom, everything. But then when I did the meditation, I was brought back to the now, not worrying about whatever is going to happen later. Right, and most importantly is meditation helped me to be my own best friend. Yeah, so I used to always fear being alone, being by myself, and meditation helped me to be my own cheerleader, my own best friend. I just need myself and my breath. Yeah, meditation taught me that. Okay, and after the meditation retreat, I realized I managed to slow down. Even walking in between Bishan to the MRT, right? I usually very rush. I'm hearing music and my mind is like thinking later do. Where so I realized even walking also now I slow down. I became more mindful, right? And one thing I did the most in the 7 days meditation retreat is no social media, right? So we had to do 8 precepts. Okay, so 8 precepts meaning only 1 meal per day, no social media, and no luxurious bed. Luxurious bed, my bed very big, very comfy, got a lot of pillow around me one. So I sleep, I'll be resting on so many pillows. So I had to give that up also, but bring a lot of mental suffering at that time. So social media detox was one, right? And during that 7 days, I'm not distracted at all. My mind wasn't grasping on a lot of things that is happening around the world. I kind of took a pause from the outside world just by stopping social media. So now, 8 a.m. to 10 p.m., right? My phone is there, then I'm just sitting there by myself. What else can I do? Now I got nothing to keep my mind busy. I got no phone, I got no social media. What else can I do? Then I sit. Yeah, that's it. Wow. Then you see myself going to my phone, Wow, then I lock my social media. I delete it, right? So yeah. Then that 7 days really is very less distraction. There's a lot of noise, I would say. Right. So I was more focused. And how they link that meditation with the Dhamma, I think that's very important. How they link meditation and Dhamma. So I'm very grateful for Achan Anand to share his learnings. Yeah. So overall, my faith increased. I have the curiosity. I had the right effort, and I like how we also chant during the meditation retreat, because chanting really helps to ground my mind. Meaning, I just say the words over and over and over again. Everybody chant together. That kind of very powerful feeling. And when we say it all together, it's something that grounds my mind. And then the thoughts didn't really come. When I'm chanting Itipiso, when I'm chanting anything, right, the thoughts don't really come, which I really appreciate. Chanting with meditation. And to be kind to myself, and my Kalyana Mitras, which are my spiritual friends, and how I put away all distraction, and most importantly, how the meditation retreat is conducted in noble silence. Meaning, we don't talk to each other at all there's no talking. Yeah, maybe during lunch. Yeah, but that was what really challenged myself, because there's a lot of things you want to share, and when you share with people, that's where you have a lot of mental things that start to come in. Yeah, so noble silence was something very important. Yeah, so tell you a funny story on day 6 of the retreat. Okay, so day 6 of the retreat, I was questioning myself. I was questioning my faith. Why am I doing all this? Ayo, so much suffering. Why am I sit here? Why do I take 5 days leave and do all this retreat? I start to lose a bit of faith, because I don't really understand why am I doing all of that. And then I spoke to Brother Dylan from Dewa. Before just when our lunch finished, we were talking, he was sharing with me about the different concentration in meditation, right? And then I said, to be honest, I don't know the different levels of concentration, but I just want to deepen my practice. I just want to do one breath at a time, just close my eyes and be able to just sit longer. That was my only goal. And I went back to the meditation retreat. So I found a nice corner. Yeah, I did a bit of walking meditation, and then I proceed to, it's a 1 hour meditation. I proceed to do my sit. So I was just sitting there. Then very quickly, I kind of had a good sense of concentration. A good sense of concentration. I felt a little bit of bliss. I felt a little bit of quite calm. And then I remember Achan and I said, then I'm like, wow, this feeling very good, right? I'm like, wow. Then I remember,
God.
yeah, God. Then I remember Achan Anand said, don't be attached to that good feeling of liking or disliking. So I said, okay, no attachment, just sit. And then I sit all the way until Angela on the light. Yeah, so Angela went to on the light. On the light, then I'm like, wow, finished already. Yeah, so I had a quite a good seat of concentration. So Angela on the light, right? So I don't call Angela is like the discipline master. Yeah. Then Xuan is like the encyclopedia of the Dhamma. So while Angela on the light, I need to faster. So I stood up. Right? Then I fall. I fall in slow-mo. So my legs was numb, but I didn't know. So I stood up. So then she's like, Phimol. She did it very slow. She just panicked. She's like, Phimol. Then Xuan and Kaylee came to me and they were like carrying me out. Then I said, okay, I'm good. But she was very, very funny. After she's like, you okay not? I go, because she's the one looking at me, I look at her. Then I fall. Yeah, so she went to ask for help. Yeah.
It was a very loud fall. It was like
Yeah. So I couldn't even observe that my legs were numb. Yeah. I didn't know. Yeah. Usually, I can feel, then I'll move, I'll fidget, but I couldn't feel. So there's a funny story at the 6 days of retreat. So I'll always remember. I think they also always remember. Yeah. So one of the quote. Yeah. So one of the quote from Thupten Chodron was honey on a razor blade.
Oh.
Yeah, honey on a razor blade. How we have a lot of attachment, right? So attachment is like honey on a razor blade. The honey tastes so sweet as we are licking it off the blade, but simultaneously we are hurting ourselves. This is the deceptive quality of clinging to the things of this life, thinking that they will bring us happiness. Generally, there is a pleasurable feeling in the mind when attachment is present, right? We're so addicted to this low-grade, fleeting happiness that we opt for it without realizing its dangers, right? It is set up for misery because it's fleeting and brings us a new set of problems. Let me give you an example. As soon as we have a new car, right, we become susceptible to car health, right? When a car breaks down or gets damaged, right? Attachment to fleeting happiness of possessions, status, so on and so forth, blinds us to the fulfillment of awakening and the bliss of liberation, which are stable forms of joy and satisfaction, right? Instead, we keep licking the honey off the razor blade, right? It's not enough to remember the disadvantages of attachment intellectually. We need to examine our life and find many examples of how it deceives us and brings us suffering in the here and now. as well as it impedes us from the chance of liberation. Right? So this is, if you like the book, right, it's Awaken Every Day, 365 Buddhist Reflection to Invite Mindfulness and Joy by Venerable Topden Chödrön.
On this note, right, Pimo actually kindly sponsored the books. So it's with us now, SBM. You can approach Amy.
Join the mentorship
But
program.
of course, the priority is for the mentorship program. But we can ask Amy on that later on.
There'll be advertisement at the end later. Yeah. Okay. So I want to share a story of Ajahn Brahm about the man-eating tiger. Anyone heard this story before? Anyone? Okay, Sherry, good. Okay. So this is a story of a man-eating tiger and a man in a jungle. Okay. So once upon a time, there's this man in the jungle running away from a man-eating tiger. Okay, he was chasing, and two things to know about this man-eating tiger. If they are chasing you, you're going to be in deep trouble, and they run much faster than you, right? And the second thing is, humans are like a delicacy to them, right? So, be wary, right? So this is about a man and a man-eating tiger. So this man was running, and he saw a hole on the floor, right? It looks like a well, and he just immediately jumped in this well, right? And as he's going down to the ground, he's grabbing whatever roots and branches that he can find to really slow down this fall. And deep down in the well, he saw a venomous snake, right? A big black venomous snake. Yeah. So he took a risk, took a chance, and he jumped in, and it was a mistake of his life, right? Have you ever made this kind of mistake? Where he took a chance, he took a risk, and it wasn't really something that you like, the outcome, right? So he jumped in. This venomous snake at the bottom, and he was holding onto this branch, and at the top there's this pawing tiger trying to eat him from on top, right? And just to make it a little bit more scary, there were two mice biting off the branches that he was holding, right? One black mice and one white mice. So they were biting off the branch. That was the only safety that he was holding left from the snake and the tiger. As the tiger was pawing, his butt was bumming against this tree. And on the tree, there was a beehive. Yeah, there was a beehive. But don't worry, the bees are okay. Right, the bees are okay. And at that moment, this thing happened. The honey from the beehive dropped. And he did this. Delicious. And that's the end of the story. Yeah. So isn't this a typical Buddhist story? There isn't any ending. Right? Whatever you want to end doesn't end. Right? Life is a work in progress. Right? So when you're in between a tiger and a venomous snake, you only have one job. And that job is to taste the honey. Right? Is to find that honey. When you have so much stresses in life, when everything seems to be falling apart, your family left you, you lost your job, you got cancer, you're gonna die, is to find that honey. Taste that honey. Delicious. Yeah. So this was a story from Ajahn Brahm on a YouTube. Right. All the credit goes to Ajahn Brahm. Yeah. So if you like all my sharings, right, I always put where I got it from. So you can always find on YouTube. So Ajahn Brahm shared this on what to do when everything seems to be falling apart. I thought that really stuck with me on understanding about all this thing that is happening. You still can enjoy. You still can find something positive. You still can find good, something good when everything is a mess.
Just to make sure there's no razor blade.
Honey, yeah. Everything is yeah. And another talk that I went was with Ajahn Dhammasihha, and one of the questions on the floor was, how do we continue to stay compassionate to the people who are not compassionate to us? Wow, very tough one. Yeah. We ask all this to the Ajahns. And his reply was, I mean, we all struggle with that. If people treat you badly and they hurt you, it is obviously difficult. One truth you can always find: people who hurt. People who hurt others usually hurting inside. So once I saw that, it was much easier to feel compassion towards them. So when we go to all these talks, sometimes we think that we need to ask very fanciful questions or very deep or high level questions to the Achan, but not so. Someone actually asked about chicken rice to the Achan, and his question was, so when I'm eating my plate of chicken rice, then I cannot enjoy it, right? Can I like the feeling? Can I enjoy this chicken rice? Like, oh, I love this chicken rice. I want to eat more of it. And Achan's answer was, can you eat chicken rice every day? Can you eat chicken rice for the next 30 days, for the whole year? And when you don't have chicken rice, will that bring you suffering? So his whole point was, we eat to fill our body so that we can continue to practice. Right? Food is just as a fulfillment. So when you keep that as a balance, we don't like or we don't like, right? We are always in this balanced mental state of not liking. When you like and you don't like, then that's where there's a lot of mental suffering. So food became just a supplement to keep the body to continue practicing. Yeah. So that was his answer to him. Yeah. And one more thing I want to share about is what is Goodwill, right? This is Tani Saro Biku from Spotify. Now, even our Dharma talks are on Spotify. Yeah. So they upgraded already. Yeah. So he mentioned about, right, goodwill is wishing for happiness for everybody. And kindness is when you go out of your way to be channeled. Right? So if you're only good only when people are good to you, that doesn't really count as much. It's when you behave with equanimity, patience, and goodwill, even when people are mistreating you. Yeah. So Buddha talks about goodwill as solid and large as the earth. Right? Goodwill and kindness are not weakness. We develop these qualities as strength. And when someone mistreats you, how they see you is not what it matters. What is your behavior is your karma. Yeah. So if you sympathize that other people is also suffering, the more goodwill you have. The more you are able to endure people's misbehavior and to be kind to them, goodwill and patience go together. The more you can endure people's misbehavior. Yeah. So all in all, if you do all that and they don't pick it up, we can still earn good karma. Yeah. Yeah. So I like this last quote that I want to share with all of you. It's easier to enjoy when things are going your way, right? But more worthwhile when you can smile when things don't go your way. Yeah. And I think working in the, when I started working, I realized that how right speech is very important, right? So to summarize right speech, always remember that your speech, how you speak to people, should be compassionate, right? Should be true, beneficial, and timely. Is it the right time? Is it beneficial? And is it true? Right? How will it be harmful to the community? And sometimes we need to ask ourselves where the thoughts are coming from and where will my words lead to? Where are they going to, or where will they lead to? All this involves right speech. Yeah. And now I just want to share about why we should practice the Dhamma, right, Buddhism. So I actually got some ideas from Achan Anand's book, which is called The World and the Heart. And I think one page that he shared, which really touched my heart, is this. Yeah. So for those of you that are new to Achan Anand, right, he took ordination under Venerable Achan Chah in 1975 at the age of 23, and he spent his early years as a monk living with his teacher. And over the years, his community has grown to about 50 monks. Yeah. So They are in the branch monastery of Wat Mat So this is what he said, right? Practicing the Dhamma is for the purpose of bringing the mind to see and understand, to see the world in line with truth. If we truly see the world, this means we have seen the Dhamma. The external world is one thing, and the internal world is just this body and the moods in our hearts, which are continuously arising and ceasing. So to whatever extent humans seek for happiness outside themselves, the further away they are from happiness within. But those who make the effort to seek happiness of the heart can find a happiness that doesn't fade. It's for this reason that all of you should seek the Dhamma. Yeah, so this was from Long Po Anand. And how do we know if the science of Buddhism, or how do we know if our practice is really sinking in? Yeah, how do we know if we are making any progress when we start practicing the Dhamma? Right, so Long Po Karuniko said this: something that once caused you suffering no longer does. Yeah. And progress is always personal. It only has to make sense to you. Yeah. So these are some quotes from Long Po Cha as well as Achan Anand. So if you have a heavy stone and you don't lift it, you don't feel it's heavy. When you lift it, you feel it's heavy. And every time you lift it, then the experience of heaviness arises. So upadana, clinging and attachment arises. And what Ajahn Brahm mentioned, pushing the wheelbarrow is easy, but thinking about it is a difficult part. Right? The same way with objects that come in contact with the mind, when the mind has no attachment, you see it arises and passes away. Right? Seeing the sense phenomena just as they are, and see that there is no being, there is no me, there is no I. This is seeing anatta, rising of wisdom. All sankhara formations are impermanent. Yeah. So this is just a thing that I try to practice and always remember, right? When we have a lot of liking, we train ourselves not stable, not sure. When we have a lot of disliking, we train ourselves not stable, not sure. When we have a lot of hate, we train ourselves not stable, not sure. To understand the Dhamma is to understand not liking or disliking. These are more quotes. So always be careful of your six senses, right? Whatever we see, we smell, we taste. Yeah, always be careful of that. When wisdom arises, it can protect the mind. Then samadhi increases more and more. Yeah. So these are some quotes that I really liked. Right. First is to go against the stream of to go against the stream of the world is to enter the stream of the Dhamma. Right. So the world has the way of targeting our five senses: sounds, smells, and flavors, sensations which are desirable and pleasing. So whatever we see, like TikTok, whatever that we see, whatever that makes us funny, it really brings us attached to this kind of pleasure. Whatever we taste, like if we go to Michelin star restaurant, there's 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, they get us so attached to our sensual pleasures. Whatever we hear, oh, this music is pleasing to my ear. Whatever I smell, this is so nice smell, right? So the world has its way of targeting these five senses. And majority of people are bound by these things, but the Buddha is no longer bounded by it. And he encourages his disciples to practice as he done. Right? So Achan Achalo also mentioned this. Buddha is the mirror of your potential. Right? When you follow the Buddha, it is following your potential. Yeah. Okay. So I'll just do a quick share 5 qualities that bring strengths, and also how we can continue this practice, right? First is to have faith, saddha. To have faith, you also need to practice virya, diligence and energy, Wake up in the morning, have that diligence to keep mindfulness right from the start until you go to sleep at night. The more you do, the better it is, right? And sati, mindfulness, and some call it awareness, right? Keep the mindfulness in the body and mind, right? Samadhi means concentration and meditative consciousness. Practice until you experience rapture, the food for your heart. The higher and higher, then you will enter jhana, right? And panya, wisdom according to the Dhamma, not in the worldly sense. This will lead to peacefulness. So use these to contemplate. Then wisdom will help in practice. Right? So these are just the 5 qualities that bring strength. And this will be one of my last slide, right? I'd like all of you to have this as a gift, 4 Brahma Viharas to protect your heart. Okay, first will be metta, to always have goodwill for others. Karuna, the thoughts of wanting to help those who are suffering. Mudita, feeling gladness and appreciation for the goodness in people, right? Always looking at the goodness in people. And last is upeka, right? Equanimity in situations where you are not able to help, right? To also have that equanimity when you're not able to help, upeka. Right? So these 4 Brahma Viharas will care for your heart, protecting it from sadness and depression. This is a meditation team which can help to make our practice of concentration strong and stable. Yep. So that's for my sharing today, and that's all. Thank you. Thanks for joining me today.